Atomic batteries to power.
Now, Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Felt a great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, Mark, like a job for me.
Where's the goodies? Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hey, I got the frozen turkeys. Yeah, but believe me, the frozen is just as good as the real. You got it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the frozens are much cheaper than the real ones, you know?
Can I help?
No. Yeah, just dig in. Don't hesitate.
Hey, this is the best Thanksgiving party we've had so far.
The cranberry sauce is dry.
You eating the mashed potatoes?
Hey, Danny, thanks a lot for the invite. Boy, Thanksgiving sure rolls around fast.
There we go, and Thanksgiving is gone so fast. This is Douglas Viviani out of Everything Old is New Again with our own frozen turkey himself, David Cohen. How was your Thanksgiving, my man?
Good. I'm still thawing out from it.
Did you try any of those recipes, that drink, that vodka drink, and all that stuff from last show?
I did. I tried the drink, and it was actually really good. That take on the Moscow Mule, I really enjoyed that.
I think what was impressive to me was that you knew what a Moscow Mule is before we even did the modification. I never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard drink.
Okay.
It's a variation on. Oh, wow, forget it. I can't remember the drink that I had in mind like a second ago.
It'll come to you. But regardless, that's what happens when you're hungover. And I mean that psychologically and physically more than anything else. From Thanksgiving, you were with the family, right? Sometimes you need a little time to recoup from that. You were with, the turkey. You had some drinks. You had some fun. Basically, it's now the Friday. I'm going to focus on the Friday after, right? And you've had a little time with the family and so forth. And it was that big build up. But now you're off the clock. Now it's usually people have the day off that Friday. I'm throwing out the window this Black Friday, whatever they call this business with the shopping. I'm throwing that out. What do we do the day after Thanksgiving? We're free to relax and just kind of, to me, I kind of just watch TV, watch a movie or two, have a couple of snacks, try to bring the family along to just kind of recoup from what we did. And maybe everyone talks about, did you hear what Uncle, Joe said? And there's always the rumors and the anger or whatever. But what we did this year, which we started last year, we talked about this on the show, was we brought a book. Those binders that, what do you call those books? We used to take the tests in with the black and white marble cover,
The composition?
Right. I bought a composition notebook last year and brought it to Thanksgiving and had everyone there write a little something in there about their year or about Thanksgiving, whatever they want. Just write a note for posterity in the Thanksgiving book, or the holiday book, we call it now. And it actually turned out pretty cool because people will write stuff down that you don't hear them actually say. And so there was some nice comments about different things, and people don't, at least in my family, they don't necessarily come up to you and say, you know what, we really enjoy the show or whatever. But it's not a book to me. I'm just saying personally, I'm going to direct it towards me. There was some couple of nice things that was said there, and in turn, of course, about other people as well. But I think that's a kind of a cool idea if your family's open to it, just passing that book around during the day and seeing what people write about.
So what would you're passing it along. What are you directing someone to write? What are you saying to them? Okay, say we're
going to keep this book. It's going to be a memory for the family, hopefully, down the line. And people are going to look back and see what was our Thanksgiving like or what was your year like. Just put something in there for posterity. What do you feel you want to tell someone in the future.
And you actually had people do this. They sat there with the book and they actually wrote stuff out.
Yeah, yes. It wasn't, no, it was like passed around. So you're having a drink. Oh, it's my turn? Okay, they take 5 minutes and write into it, and then you go on to the next person. You know, it's not like a huge undertaking.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. And the book's laying around on the table. Oh, did you write it? Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And then somebody else takes it, and, you know.
And I guess people are more, inclined to say something nice when they're writing it down, right? As opposed to,
That's
Turkey
true.
was really dry this year, and Uncle Lou was very grabby, as usual.
I didn't read it in detail. I really should look for that. You know what? No, I can't do it because I put it on the air. They'll never write again. But I'll summarize. I'm going to look at it.
Name names.
Yeah, I'm going to summarize.
Right. Oh, you got to do that.
That actually is good
do
for a show.
You have it? Bring it. Read it now. Come on.
I have to go upstairs and get it. I will. I'll take a look in between.
Come on, I can't believe you didn't bring that with you.
I'll bring it down. All right. I was thinking more about the frozen TV dinner. Let's listen to the commercial, and then I want to ask you a trivia.
Frozen TV dinner. Listen, to the listeners out there, I know what you're more interested in hearing. Doug's family reminisces about Thanksgiving that who knows what people are saying, right? Things that you'll probably find out as you're reading it on the air for the first time.
Correct.
And that's what's interesting.
I know, but we have 5 minutes to go. I can't stop right now. I'll do it the next section. We have 5 minutes to go here.
All right, let's get the frozen turkey.
Here we go.
She just takes Swanson TV turkey dinners from the freezing compartment of our refrigerator.
1955, the first time they frozen
and right
did a
you
frozen
are,
dinner.
Jack.
Here we go.
And that is because Mary Lou knows that she can have a swell dinner ready in just 25 minutes.
Right.
And talk about easy. Well, she just pops Swanson TV turkey dinners in a hot oven. You know, they're oven ready in individual heat and serve trays. With Swanson TV turkey dinners,
do they even sell them
you
anymore?
just heat and serve, and you serve big and hearty slices of moist, tender Swanson turkey with grand giblet gravy and special cornbread dressing and fluffy whipped sweet potatoes with golden Swanson butter and garden fresh peas with more butter.
That actually really sounds good. It sounds like a great meal. Is that really what you've experienced with TV dinners yourself?
No. How could you say garden fresh peas? They're frozen. They're not fresh. That's the opposite of fresh.
Well, they're going to say they were freshly frozen. They were fresh when they were frozen.
Yeah, I remember that. The TV dinners were big when we were growing up. Not to talk about how old we are, but
but they actually called them TV dinners.
TV dinners, yeah.
They call them that.
You sat in front of the TV and you ate your dinner. This thing that you didn't even have a microwave back then, right? You had to put it in the oven and heat this frozen thing up. It was full of stuff that was just absolutely not good for you, but tasted. You know, you got used to the taste, right? It was you expected a TV dinner, everything in it to taste a certain way until you got to the dessert part of the little tray, right? You had a little apple cobbler or cranberry sauce or something sweet in there. You ate all the stuff around it just to get to that dessert. And you were disappointed because the dessert tasted exactly like the turkey.
They all had the same preservative on it. Well, the other thing is they don't call them TV dinners anymore. They simply call them lean cuisine and whatever. I mean, there is still frozen dinners. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But you made a great point. They don't have the microwave. If you listen to that commercial, they were saying it oling in 25 minutes. It's done. Olding.
That's right. I mean, it was still quicker than preparing a meal from scratch, right? A lot quicker, a lot easier.
We take for granted so many different things that we have that makes food, easier to cook and all of that.
25 minutes back then was probably like 25 seconds is today.
Correct. Yeah. Here's the trivia question.
Okay.
And I think you
Did
brought
you get
this.
the book yet? Did you go up and get the book?
Not yet. You brought. What am I, the Flash? I'm still on the air. Listen, TV dinner. We just talked about the Swanson TV dinner, right? Swanson invented the TV dinner. Why did they invent it? What was the mother of invention? What made them do this? They were selling turkeys, real live, or frozen turkeys or whatever. Why did they do this? Any ideas? Why did they make and invent the turkey dinner?
Probably because, I don't know, it was a brilliant idea to make money for families that were too busy to cook.
In 1953, They had 260 tons of frozen turkey left over after Thanksgiving. They didn't sell enough turkey. They had all this turkey left over. They said, what are we going to do with this turkey? And they invented the TV dinner. How cool is that? I don't know. I think that's very cool.
That is, yeah.
All right, let's go out. We're gonna come back. I'll get the book, but we're also going to take a look at some television shows.
No, we're not. You're going to get the book. We're going to go through the book for the rest of the show. That's what we're going to do. I'm calling the Audible.
Oh, there's an Audible. All right. Well, we'll go out on Columbo here, just getting excited about food, and then we'll come back. Just because I did make this clip anyway, so let's just have some fun. I'll be back with the book though.
Well, listen. Now that you mention it, I could use something. So
The trout amandine is very good.
Amandine. What is that with? That's with
almonds.
With almonds. Fish. Well, I was thinking of something a little bit more with body. I'll tell you what, if you don't mind, do you have any chili? Say, that's delicious. I never tasted chili like that before.
That special recipe made out of squirrel meat. That's good, ain't it?
Yeah, that explains it. But, I got to tell you this. The things that she's been buying, I wouldn't eat much of that either. Soybeans, the wheat germ. Not that it's not good for you. I'm sure it's terrific, but, see, I happen to like a bowl of chili. I like a rare steak now and then.
Lieutenant, I'm sure you didn't come all the way out here to discuss your eating habits.
We are going to discuss eating habits. We'll be back. Ready? This is new again.
Coming your way in color, an exciting four-city fiesta of holiday parade
go get the
on
book.
the big Thanksgiving Parade Jubilee. Be watching.
Oh, my God, they're talking! Oh, Johnny, can you get this? Oh, they're crashing to the earth right in front of our eyes! Oh, my goodness! Oh, the humanity! The turkeys are hitting the ground like sacks of wet cement. Trout is running for their lives. Oh, not since the Hindenburg tragedy has there been anything like this. I don't know how much longer I can hold my position here, Johnny. The crowd...
Les, are you there? Les isn't there. Thanks for that on-the-spot report, Les.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
There we are, back. Everything old is new again here after the Thanksgiving, or just say the big Thanksgiving holiday we just celebrated last weekend, and now we're trying to pick up the pieces of all the disasters that may or may not have happened, and just kind of survive the Thanksgiving hangover with some advice here and there. David Cohen, how are you?
Good. I see that you have the aforementioned book journal that we talked about.
I went up and I got the journal. I don't think there's anything extraordinary, but we'll try to do some highlights here if that's what it is. We were talking about last section how we created a family book to write either a favorite memory of the year or some things that are happening, and for generational kind of pass this down. We've got lots of pages to fill in, but there's some
great idea,
some stuff here. And
so what this book was from which Thanksgiving?
So now this is actually, believe it or not, this is actually Christmas of 2021. So it looks
Christmas
like
2021. Okay, so
right,
recent.
Right, and then we're going to do it again, this year. So we've got, of course, Thanksgiving and Christmas. We came up with the idea just last year, and we started it in Christmas. So
it's a new idea.
Yeah, a brand new idea.
It sounded like you had been doing this for years.
Oh, see, it would be a lot better when in our 15th anniversary of doing Everything Old is New Again. We'll look back and have more selects from. Be more interesting.
So it's a new tradition that you started.
Yes, how do you like that?
All right, so let's. This is juicy. Let's.
One of my nieces writes down that, and I'm summarizing some of the stuff here. I'm excited to see how and cutting through how the book is passed down from each generation. I may be only 21, but I have a few pieces of advice for a future generation. Keep a level head and your goals in sight. Pray every day and be blessed every minute. Smile from the heart, not the mouth.
Wow. And this is your niece?
That's my niece. How about that?
And she's 21?
Yeah. Well, she was then.
Wow.
How about that?
Very insightful.
Not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. Ask someone what what their thoughts are about the holidays. And she writes something very profound.
Yeah, and you wouldn't, you wouldn't hear her say that in conversation to you, like we were saying last week. Last section.
Okay.
Also, just someone else is writing in here how my brother.
Who is it? Can you just
my brother-in-law writes in here how my brother, as we all know, was in the hospital. This is in the midst of it now. Now this is December 21. This is I visited my brother about the 19th, I would say, and put some in his. He was in the hospital still. This is like his third month. He had pancreatitis, and he was just coming out of. He was out of the coma. He was around, up and around, and so forth, but struggling to, kind of.
So he was. So just so the listeners know, your brother, who's been on the show many times before, was in the hospital for a long time with a very serious condition. Thank God, he's good now. He's fine. So this is written by your brother-in-law at the time that your brother was still in the hospital?
Right. He went in the hospital in August, and he was still in December. He was on the way to recouping, and he was finally awake and out of the coma and so forth. And we were optimistic. And so at that point, it was interesting because I went in, I put an elf on the shelf in his room, and I brought a couple of silly little presents, and didn't know that this was going to be the last time I saw him before Christmas because COVID hit that particular wing of the hospital. And I put some lights up in his room and whatever. So, we were going to all celebrate Christmas together and have a phone for him and so forth and whatever, communicate and be there and whatever. And they shut down the hospital for all visitors from that day forward. So this is a notation about that. And he says that he's been in the hospital, and this week the doctor told him he can come home as early as next week, which would be the new year. So a total miracle, he says. And then he talks about that they're eating lasagna that I made that year, and it was delicious, and had a wonderful time listening to my stories. How about that?
Wow. And so this is your brother-in-law who wrote that?
Yes. Loves my lasagna. I may have to do that again this year.
Lasagna, yeah, but obviously you have a very, close-knit family.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yes. It's not every family that is concerned about, in-laws and so on and so forth.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Very nice.
And your stories. Okay, well, we'll have to get into that in a minute. But, okay,
you've heard some of those.
This is good.
My mom, Leo's growing up. My son is growing very fast, and we're thankful to have such a wonderful, loving family. Again, my son's in the hospital from pancreatitis. Thankful he's getting through that. I'm grateful that he survived, and look forward to having him home. That's what a mom certainly would say, right, during that time frame.
Sure.
My dad basically was saying that he loves going to the family events. He loves his family. And his favorite memory of Thanksgiving is being with his wife. How about that? After 50-plus years.
That's nice.
Is that something?
That's great.
Yeah. Then my daughter writes a favorite memory of going out one weekend with the family to Mattatuck, where my sister has a house. All of us went there, including Uncle John, she says at the time. Went to the beach, and we went to get ice cream and this and that. She loves all that. And she says, writing this the day after Christmas, a very important... Oh, so she writes this the day after. A very important holiday in the family. I realized something. Family is forever. We go through tough times together, spend time together, and laugh together. We stick through it together. We got through COVID. We got through Uncle John in the hospital, and so much more. If we can do that, it just shows that family is forever. It also shows that family is precious. I hope you enjoy reading this. I hope it teaches you that family is forever, because it is... It always will be. How about that for my daughter?
And just so our listeners know, how old is...
Oh, yeah. At the time, she was, let's see, this was, she was 12.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. Listen, I know your family very well. And Angelica's just a really special kid. So I'm not surprised that she wrote something like that. But still, that the idea that you have is just fascinating to hear about, because people... You're right. They're going to write stuff down that they wouldn't normally say to you, right, or say to anyone out loud.
Right.
But when they're given a private opportunity to really express their thoughts on paper, even if you stuck a mic in front of her, right? If you wanted to do like an audio recording of all this instead of the writing, I don't think you'd get as much out of it as you do through the writing.
And I agree. And I also think there's something else which is interesting. I think when you tell them that this is for posterity, or we're going to try to save this and have people, see it in the future, it gives you a little more different perspective too. Like my niece who wanted to give advice,
Oh yeah, absolutely. That you're right. Give it. Knowing that it's for posterity, I think definitely influenced.
Yeah, I think so. And so we're going to do that every year. I think it's a fun idea. This year, I'm going to write maybe not my favorite memory, but we had something happen. We went to Boston. I'm showing you a cellophane envelope with some pieces of glass or plastic glass in it.
It's like a Ziploc bag.
Yes.
With pieces of glass in it?
I'll explain that to you in a minute.
All right.
So we took a trip a couple of weeks ago up to Boston. My wife was giving a keynote speaker of a particular convention. So we went. We get the free room. So we brought the family to the weekend.
Pack them all in. Was this Uncle John too? Like mom and dad, everybody in the room?
Just the kids and I, and of course Juliana. So we go up. We get there at like, I don't know, it's like 11:30. We check in, and we check into the first room, and it only has one bed. So, of course, there's a mistake. So, if
and
the call
there's four
back,
of you.
There's four of us. So, my son's so funny. He goes, I'll sleep here. Like, there's these nice chairs that sort of have
with the leg rest.
With the leg rest and everything. He's going to sit there and sleep. He's offering to sleep there. So, I said, no, we can't do that. So, we change rooms. Second room we get to, we all settle in, we unpack and whatever, and it's a long trip. It usually takes 5 hours, maybe 4.5 to get there. It took us 8 because one row was closed and there was lots of stuff going on. So, and we stopped for dinner and whatever. So we're tired, ready. This is it. We got to get to sleep. She's got to speak the next day, But we need to unwind, and as parents, after all of that, being in the car with your kids for 8 hours, you need to sleep one, like a glass of wine or something right before you go to sleep.
At least. Yeah.
So they have a desk or a table, right? Sort of a desk with a chair under it. In the room, and you have to use like a wine opener, a corkscrew, and I'm using that. And I have the bottle on the table, which I normally do, kind of, right? And I pull up on the cork, and it pops open. And just that simple gesture of, of course, your left hand, my right hand's pulling the cork, the left hand has got the bottle, right? Mm-hmm. So as you pull it, you're pulling both different directions. So as the cork releases itself from the bottle, the right hand going up in the air, the left hand, the bottle naturally, which I didn't really think too much about, goes down against the table.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's not going to also do anything significant. I mean, I've done that a million times. Have you done that? I don't know. Usually I guess you don't do it over a table. It's not the smartest thing, but whatever.
Were you using like an old-fashioned corkscrew?
Yeah, it was an old-fashioned because like a 69 1-cent one you get at the liquor store.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
And I didn't realize this table had something on top of it. It had like a thin, I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch piece of plastic glass. I'm going to call it. I don't know what it's made of.
Plastic glass.
It's like a protectant against the table.
Over the desktop table.
Yeah.
Oh, for spills and things like that.
Right, but I didn't notice it because it was a different color. It was sort of like that notebook color. It was sort of like a lot of marble kind of color. Yeah, black marble. Or gray, black, white kind of marble. And oh my God, that opening of the bottle and hitting the bottle, or at the bottom of the bottle hit the table.
Right.
The whole thing shattered. You heard this crash.
Oh, wow. That is really cool.
It crackled through. It shattered like crazy. And I just look at my wife and my kids, and we're stunned. And, of course, what's my wife's reaction? What is the first thing she's going to say?
We're going to have to pay for that.
What did you do? I hate to say this. We're out of time. I'll have to come back in 2 seconds and continue. Okay. We'll be back. Right at this and Everything Old is New Again.
Good to be young. Kind of sucks being old. So just enjoy this. Enjoy time. Time slips away, I promise you. I had a dinner like this 20 years ago with guys that we just lost touch with each other. I never talk to them anymore. Some of them are dead. So, things slip away. If you love somebody, don't let them slip away. I swear to you, this will be your most memorable Thanksgiving, the one that you'll want the rest of your life, the one that you say, man, it was never as good as that night. So let this night be great.
There we go. Everything old is new again. Wondering if you had a great Thanksgiving last weekend, and we're dealing with our Thanksgiving hangover. Yeah, that was from Funny People with Adam Sandler. Have you seen that movie? David Cohen.
No, as a rule, I don't watch any movies with Adam Sandler.
I agree with you 100%, except this one had and it was Judd Apatow's movie. It was recommended because it had a connection to Thanksgiving. I'm trying to show a little what you may want to watch on Thanksgiving, at least Thanksgiving-related movies, maybe. And that one, believe it or not, is a pretty good movie about comedians and their life and how solitary it becomes and so forth. And I have to say,
what's the name of it?
It's called Funny People. I would recommend it. It's pretty good.
I've heard of it.
Don't expect laughs. It is some laughs in it.
I usually don't with Adam Sandler movies.
Exactly. That's why it works, because he's not going for laughs at all. So I would recommend it. Just to finish that story, we were talking about the book, and we'll get to it.
Right.
So I was in a hotel.
So the glass is shattered on top of the desk, right?
Right, and it's not really glass; it's like plastic too. You know,
glass is some kind of like plexiglass that obviously is not shatterproof.
So I go down. Of course, what does my wife say? As soon as the shattering happens, what did I do? Right.
Yeah.
So, but she later admits, and we've talked about it. She said, "What did I do? I opened the bottle of wine. Like, who would expect that to happen? Right.
Right.
It's not that much force, or was it? I don't know. Bottle didn't break.
The reaction, though, the concern for your well-being. That statement.
Right, as the shattered glass and pieces. I mean, little minutia pieces. Right. Look at these pieces. They're sort of like small. They're like the smallest Lego piece. You know, that little.
Your
little
fingers
piece.
are in the way. Move them a little bit. Let me just. Yeah, they're tiny. My gosh.
Yeah.
And these things are so tiny. I'm just thinking on a desk in a hotel room. There's got to be thousands.
Oh, it had to be at least 10,000 little pieces, if not more.
Whoa. So, okay.
So I leave and I go down and it's everywhere on the table. And I start like sort of knee jerk, like I get the garbage can and I go, let me see if I can get a couple of these in the garbage can, because some of them are still together. They're like maybe a piece of 5 inches by 7 inches, and I gingerly take that piece and put it into the garbage can. And I'm thinking to myself, can we hide this? No. Should we hide this? No. What am I? The old college days sink in, because it's the only time you've ever done something stupid like this. Yeah. Who's going to pay for this? That's the next question. What's that all about? So I go down to the front office, whatever, the desk. They had just given me that, by the way, that opener. They knew I was opening wine.
You got the bottle opener
from them,
from the desk. Okay, so there's some shared liability.
Yeah, I got a little something there. I'm thinking the lawyer now is thinking, I don't want to pay for this. This thing's going to cost me some money, man. So I go down, I explain it to them. They go, okay, we'll send somebody up. I said, I think I may have said something like, I think we need somebody to clean it up, maybe a dustpan and a broom, maybe. So I didn't really describe it exactly right. Literally 2 minutes later, as I get back into the room, the family's still in shock. They're all in the same exact positions. It's like suspended animation from where they were.
Did any of it go on the floor?
All over the floor too. Oh yeah,
yeah, so
and it flew into bags and onto the bed. It flew everywhere.
You don't want the Bruce Willis Die Hard scene where he's walking across the glass on the floor.
Pretty much, exactly. So 2 minutes later, the doorbell rings, and in comes a room service guy. Or housekeeping, I'll say, right? In room service, housekeeping. And he's got a broom and a dustpan. And he looks in, he goes, what do you got? He looks at it. He stops mid-sentence. He turns around and leaves. He goes, I'll be back. And it was way beyond dustpan and a broom. So then another knock on the door. And it's security. They pull me out to the hallway, and they want to ask me questions. They're suspecting, in my mind, they didn't say this. They're suspecting domestic violence, right?
Domestic violence.
And they come in, and my wife...
Which,
could be.
It's good that they're thinking like that.
I agree.
No reason to fault them for that.
They're taking my driver's license, taking photos of that.
Cuffing you.
I'm thinking, my God, this is...
they put the cuffs on, so I'm in jail overnight.
My wife says the wrong thing.
Oh, no.
I'm in trouble. No, I'm saying if she does. You know what I mean?
I thought she was going to say, he did it. He did it off.
Well, almost in a way, because they come in and she's embarrassed and she hides in the bathroom.
Oh, no, that's not a good thing.
No, so now it looks like...
No.
It looks like I'm getting in trouble here.
Everything's okay, officer.
It's pretty much...
I have my wife locked in the bathroom. She's safe.
So she's like runs the water and pretends. I go, Giuliani, yeah, they got to come out. And I'm like, the Italian blood is boiling a little bit, knocking on the door a little more. Please come out, come out. And
because that's smart, because you want to exhibit the tendency towards violence.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And the kids are, Mom, come on out. So finally she comes out. No, I'm fine. Everything's okay. It's just crazy. I can't believe this. And so that turned out okay. And then. So I'm beyond the security part of it, but then I get they leave the door, the knock on the door again. The assistant and the, I guess, on duty manager, and this is like a Hilton. This is like a big hotel.
This isn't like a Motel 6.
No, this is next to the convention center in Boston. This is like a huge hotel. So the main guy comes in with the assistant, and they ask me what happens. I know they're coming in for a liability investigation. Right. They start taking pictures of the area and what went on.
Oh, they're taking photos.
Yeah, now they want to know what happened. I'm assuming there's an insurance discussion here going on, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was funny because apparently this has happened before, because as I start to describe, while I was opening a bottle of wine, the minute I said that, the assistant manager points to the manager and says, "See, I told you." They must have been talking about it in the elevator, and
You know what? I was saying to myself as you were telling me the story, this could not have been the first time someone shattered that thing, right?
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
Okay, well, that's good.
And he was smart, too, and I was expecting a bill. I was expecting the insurance discussion. I was expecting something, And they were very good, very cool about it. And they said, no, we need to, as I was going to bring this up, I was going to say, well, if they were starting to get into an insurance discussion, I don't want to pay for this nonsense.
Nah, yeah. Yeah.
So I was lining that up in my mind. I was saying, well, listen, we're in danger here with all this stuff all over the place. What kind of a place is this? What kind of thing do you have here that can't withstand a little bit of a bump from a bottle, But they were great. They were just like, no. And I was like, we can be up for a little while if you need to have housekeeping come in and clean up.
Well, they should just put you in a different room.
That's pretty much what they exactly said. They said, no. Said, please pack up now. If you need somebody, we'll help you. We have another room for you. And that was that. So, that was, it was just an event. It was just a crazy, but we live under Murphy's Law. If something wrong is or bad is going to happen, whatever, it's going to happen to the Vivianis. Have you ever heard anyone in your experience have that happen?
No, never heard of that happen. And how did it impact Juliana's speech at the convention?
Well, she didn't get a chance to go to sleep till like 2:00 in the morning. She was a little cranky. But the speech wasn't until 2:00 the following afternoon, or 1:00, something like that. So she did sleep, till 11. We were okay. We were quiet and this and that, and then we were okay. It worked out fine.
You were forgiven. Everything. Water under the bridge.
I am never forgiven. There's always a tally that if I do something wrong, she'll pull out. And by the way, here's the list of the last 14 things you did not so
old guilt scroll. Like to call it. All the things you've done bad.
Yes. So that's that. So
I'm glad that ended well. And so what made you save the glass in the bag?
That will be part of my story that I put into the book this year. That and getting stuck.
Oh, I see. For your the Thanksgiving journal.
That and getting stuck in the, if you remember the cruise show, getting stuck in the tube of the, remember that I'm going to call it a ride, but the slide.
Oh, right. You got like the Homer Simpson thing. You got stuck in the water slide.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you have not heard that show, that is a must listen. Do you remember which show it was?
It's called The Cruise. If you go on Everythingoldisnewagain.biz and just look for The Cruise, you'll see it there on this year's shows.
What a great... You're right. Wherever you guys... No, it's not you guys. It's wherever
it's me.
You, Doug, take the family, something bad happens.
So there's a price to pay for all the, the fun and the family and all that stuff. So these are the kind of stories that I tell when they were talking about the book.
Your brother-in-law is saying he enjoyed Doug's stories.
Right. What exact story I remember? I think I was telling stories back in the day as a kid. We were just left alone, like ridiculously left alone. There was a huge shearing scissors in the house, and I was literally 5 years old, and I saw the TV was on. I wanted wanted the TV turned off. I didn't know how to do it. I used this metal shearing scissors to cut the wire from the, for the TV, the electrical wire, and I got electrocuted for a couple seconds there myself. And I was telling the story in a lot more detail how that happened when I was a kid.
Wow.
The supervision.
How old were you, 4?
I was like 4 or 5. Yeah, the supervision wasn't exactly what it is now these days.
No, there was no supervision.
Pretty much. We'll be back to continue with the Hangover. Try to get over all the events of this year's
Yeah, we got to talk more about that election.
And here comes the J.L. Hudson Thanksgiving Day Parade. And this is the goose, the enormous goose with a wing spread like a fighter plane, dragging.
This is Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Lee Merriweather. You're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Doug Viviani and David Cohen. They are great guys.
Hi, this is Manny Cotto, a creator, executive producer, and showrunner of the new Fox show Next, premiering October 6th. And this is Everything Old is New Again, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
How about that? We're back here. David Cohen.
It's great how the name of our show just rolls off all these celebrities' tongues so naturally. Everything old is new again. I forget our names. That's a whole other thing.
Yes.
I'm surprised they get that right.
But Lee Merriweather, what a
Lee
treasure.
Merriweather was. I still remember that. It was years ago, but. Oh, what a pleasure talking to her. She was terrific.
Yeah, she really was. I really enjoyed spending some time with her, I should say. So yes. Okay.
Now, all right. Back to the story that you were telling, just off the cuff before we broke.
2 off the
cuff
stories.
You took some garden shears. You were 4 years old. You took some garden shears. You were not supervised in the house. You wanted to shut off the TV, and instead of pulling the plug out of the wall, right? Because you didn't know how to shut the TV. I get it. 4 years old, you're not sure with the on-off switch. But instead of pulling the plug out of the wall, you, I don't know, somehow had access to garden shears, and you took the garden shears and you cut the power cord on the TV, and almost, well, you said you electrocuted yourself to a certain extent, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's probably what happened, why I'm off. Since then, I've been a little bit off.
Okay. So what?
Lots of questions.
I guess my first question is why didn't you just pull the plug? Did you? I don't know. Didn't make.
I was a mischievous kid. I probably did it for more of a possibly. Well, let's go this way. If we want to really examine this in my world, and I'm not saying this is what happened. This is a long time ago. I can't remember exactly 100% what was going through my mind. However, obviously we weren't supervised very closely, so I'm going to assume that in my world, because I was a little mischievous for quite some time, that I did these things as I wanted to gather attention.
Got it.
You know?
And you remember that you were 4, but you remember this?
How could you forget? I'm going to say 5, though. I'm going to say 5.
Okay.
How could you forget being... I could still feel the electric shock going through my body. Wow. I mean, have you ever been electrocuted? I mean, that's not a fair word. It's electric charge, It's not electrocuted.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you feel a little shock. You do something stupid with a plug or something.
Yeah, that lasted... probably 5 to 10 seconds.
No, not for that long.
Yeah, not 10. 10's too long, but that what I just did there was about the amount of time it was.
Oh, whoa.
So you don't forget that.
Were you alone, or was your brother?
Yeah, my brother was there, so he was 7. Big deal. He wasn't exactly super.
And did you start off saying, "Oh, cool, here's some garden shears. Let me see what I can do with these"? Or did you say...
I will say this: my mother did a lot of darning of clothes.
Darning
back in the day,
sewing,
whatever. And there was a sewing machine there as well on a table, right, sort of in that same room, close to the television. So, along with that, you need to have a scissors. I don't know why she had this. It almost reminds me of. But remember Bugs Bunny? You remember Bugs Bunny had this big
garden shears?
Yeah,
the giant scissors.
Yeah, I don't know why that comes to mind, but that's sort of what it was like. I'm imagining it that way. It was huge, and I don't know why it was there. We all laughed. And that's what. This is a story I was telling. One of the stories because we're going. My brother was in the hospital.
The holiday journal.
Right. We were a little more optimistic because he was coming out of it, but I wanted to share some stories of my brother and I unsupervised as a kid. So that led into the second story of us being unsupervised. My parents, they still don't know, for example, that my brother doesn't like to drink milk. Like they'll constantly, and I don't drink coffee. Like there's constant.
So leaving a 7 and a 5-year-old home alone.
We weren't alone, but she was upstairs in the shower or something. We weren't home alone.
They were home. So your mom was home. She was just in another part of the house.
As usual, yes. So another time we went to one of these. This leads into like the stories were us being left alone, and my parents trying to defend themselves through this. But our memories maybe are skewed because we're kids. Maybe there's something, I don't know. But the point is, there was a day we went to, we go to these like amusement parks, and back in the day they gave you these pump rifles, like air pump rifles for an award, right? These little ones that were like maybe 2 feet long, and you could pump it up, maybe two and a half, and you could shoot out like a little, like it was supposed to be like a cork
pellet or something.
Yeah, but almost like a cork, or cork balls, little balls that were cork, right? So so we're left alone, and maybe at this point I'm going to say that I'm 7 and my brother's 9 at the time.
Okay,
we're having M&Ms. Got into the M&Ms somehow while watching TV on a Saturday afternoon. It's raining out.
It sounds like you're a couple of dogs. We left the M&Ms out, and the dogs just went to town.
I can tell you this. At 7 years old, I was cooking my own breakfast, and I was talking about bacon and eggs and a full breakfast. My father used to say that I could be a short-order chef at 7, 8 years old.
Were you supervised when you were at the stove?
They were home. Well, Mom was home. Dad was always working. Mom was home.
Mom was home, but as you mentioned before, usually
it was an electric. It was electric stove at the time, so it was a little different.
Safer, yeah.
Not to say that I didn't touch it and burn myself at some point. I certainly did that. The coils, it was a coil hot one.
So they were letting you cook at 7?
Oh yeah, 7, 8 years old. I was cooking no problem. I'll go crazy and say I was 9, but I think it was on the earlier side.
Even so, that's
I was very young doing all that stuff. My kids don't do any of that today. They can't make cereal. I mean, it's unreal. Anyway, so that's what makes me crazy. There is maybe a little bit.
There's got to be a happy medium, right? I mean,
but there's a little.
Kids should know how to at least know how to cook without doing it themselves, or at least with some adult supervision.
Well, that leads to the anger.
Maybe you're going the other extreme.
I'm an extreme guy. What happens is this: I cook the meals for dinner, and they don't come down, and I get this. Everyone wonders why I have this little tinge of anger. Like I just spent, a half hour, 45 minutes cooking dinner. It's hot. It's on the table. Come down to dinner. So, like, I call them down, and they never come down when I ask them, whatever. One comes in, the other one comes in, so, it's not ready, and this, it is ready, whatever. It's, sit down. I can't get them to sit down. My wife comes down. Wow. She literally goes right past the table to the laundry room. Why is she going to the room? She has to switch the laundry from the washer to the dryer. The dinner is on the table. So it makes me crazy every day. I'm sure there's a lot of people this happens to. You cannot corral the family to sit down for a meal. And by the way, I just spent 45 minutes or a half hour, and I bought it. I went shopping for it, and I planned it, and this is. And I'm trying to be good, like good recipes. I'm following Gordon Ramsay on the shrimp scampi and whatever, all this stuff. You're proud of it, And then no one comes down to eat anyway. So,
you know what? There's always pizza.
There's the deep-seated, there's the deep, but I want to have that good food. So anyway, the deep-seated anger is there.
I understand. I could see that, sure.
I don't want to eat pizza anymore. I'm beyond the pizza stage now in my life, Anyway, so the point being is we go back to it, that's where the sort of, I think there's a deep-seated, like, sort of hostility a little bit on a level of 1 to 10, maybe a 1, but it's there in that we were left alone. Because here's a story, and it's very quick. We don't have that much time. We got to the M&Ms. My brother's got this pump gun. I stand on the step. He's over by the TV across the room, maybe 20 feet from where I'm on a step. He says, "Open your mouth." I don't know what the hell he's doing. He says, "Open your mouth." I don't know why I did it. I opened my mouth. He shot the M&M right into but it didn't enter my mouth gently. It went right down the gullet. I didn't enjoy that M&M, needless to say. And I stopped breathing for a couple of seconds. I was like, it went down my throat. I mean, it was stuck there. It wasn't chewed or anything. And I was doubled over, and I was spitting it out. And what the hell? And again, it's another story I was telling that I should put into this book. That I was telling that Uncle Bobby he gets a kick out of hearing these stories and how supervised or not supervised we were. I have a million of these, but this is what it is.
Open your mouth. Open your mouth.
Your older brother says, open your mouth, you do it.
Yeah, of course, right. And how close was he with the gun? Was he like right next to you?
No, it was about, like I say, it was probably about 15 to 20 feet away. He had a good shot.
That's a pretty good shot.
He could have poked my eye out too, by the way.
Absolutely. As opposed to almost choking you to death.
Right.
Yeah, that was another thing.
This is the guy that we were praying for to get out of the ICU, these years later. So yeah, those are the stories that you can
And
get.
are your parents sorry, are we like running out of time here?
No, we have a couple seconds, yeah. Go ahead, give a minute.
What's your parents' reaction when you tell them these stories?
I don't remember.
They didn't know about it.
My mother's reaction to everything is, what? That's number one. She pretends she can't hear it. Number two, when we finally repeat it to her. I guess she thinks that if she says
So
what.
it's not like, what? Like, are you crazy? It's
No.
what? I can't hear you.
She pretends like, what?
I see.
And then it's and then when we explain it to her again, she I guess she thinks that we're not going to follow up on the what. It really
Right,
is a question, Mom. So we'll follow. No, it really did happen. Blah blah. She does. I don't remember that the exact situations. I don't remember.
She wouldn't remember because she wasn't in the room, right? And
Correct.
she probably blocked the aftermath of, finding her 5-year-old son, having
on the floor with his
from an
hair,
electric shock.
his hair on end, yeah, with the winky dink pen in my other hand, to be ready to write on the TV set.
Yeah, exactly. And the lifetime unexplained nervous twitch in your right eye.
And the reason why I'm a helicopter parent now, I'm really not, but I mean, there's a different mindset these days.
Crazy.
I mean, anyway, would you leave? Like, what do you call it when you got you had the baby? What is this, baby safe? What do we call that when you make the house safe for the kids?
Baby proof.
Baby proof, right? There was no such thing as baby proofing a house,
Right, child-proofing,
or child proofing
there's nothing, right.
anything back then. I mean, that was not.
Everything was up for grabs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I yeah, there are stories unsupervised or just not conscious about the safety of your kids,
right?
Putting them in danger. It was more common than I think people of the younger generation might appreciate.
Well, let's pick that up next week on Everything Old is New Again. We're going to continue with our Thanksgiving hangover right here, right now. Have some fun. We'll be back next week.
Turns out, doesn't matter what kind of turkey you cook.
And a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Or what table you sit at. It's the people who you welcome into your home and your heart who really matter. And that's something to be truly thankful for.
Oh.
Hi, kiddo.